Admiral Jun Park stood with his back straight and his face hard as stone. The large screen in front of him showed a message that made his blood run cold. After 30 years of trying to talk to aliens, they had finally answered, but their words were not friendly. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council. They were made up of 17 powerful species from across the stars. For decades, Earth had sent messages into space, hoping someone would answer. Now they had, but not to welcome humans as equals. "They want tribute," Jun said to the room of officers. His voice was quiet but filled with anger. "They demand our metals, our water, our technology, and they want human test subjects." Commander Hyun Kim stepped closer to read the message. Her dark eyes narrowed as she understood what it meant. "They think we're weak," she said. "They think we will give them whatever they ask for because their ships are bigger." June nodded and turned to face the large window that showed Earth below the space station. The blue planet looked peaceful from here. Its people had no idea that aliens had just threatened their world. "Get me Earth Central Command," he ordered, "and wake up the defense minister. The council needs to learn that humans have never bowed to bullies." 6 hours later, in a secure room deep beneath Seoul, Joan explained the situation to the gathered world leaders. Their faces showed shock, fear, and anger as the message from the Galactic Council played on screens around the room. "They will arrive in our solar system in 14 days, June finished. "They expect us to have the first shipment of tribute ready, including 100 human volunteers for their tests." Defense Minister Sukli stood up. She was a small woman, but when she spoke, everyone listened. "For 50 years, we have watched the stars and prepared," she said. "We hoped for friends but planned for enemies. Now we know which one came first." She pressed a button, and a room darkened. A 3D map of the solar system appeared above the table. Behind Earth's moon, 5 large shapes glowed blue. "Project Aegis," she said. 5 warships built in secret, using both our technology and what we learned from the 3 alien scout ships that crashed on Earth over the years. Gasps filled the room. Most of the leaders had not known about these ships. "Are they ready?" asked the president of the United African Nations. June nodded. "They are ready and crewed. We kept them hidden, using the dark side of the moon to shield them from Earth telescopes and any watching eyes from space." "Will 5 ships be enough against the Galactic Council?" asked another leader, fear in her voice. "No," June answered honestly. "But we don't need to win a war. We just need to show them that taking what they want from Earth will cost them more than they're willing to pay." Dr. Jin Choi, Earth's top expert on possible alien life, stood next. He was tall and thin, with tired eyes that had studied crash sites and alien messages for most of his life. "The Council's message shows their weakness," he said. "They are used to species that give in easily. Their words show pride and the belief that they are better than us. This can be used against them." Minister Suk looked around the room. "I suggest we answer their demand. We tell them we will meet their ships in Earth orbit to discuss the tribute. Then we show them what humanity does when threatened." The vote was quick and unanimous. Earth would not give in. Earth would not show fear. As the meeting ended, Commander Hyun joined June by the window. Outside, the lights of Seoul sparkled in the night. "Do you think they know what they've done?" she asked quietly. "Do they know they just woke a sleeping giant?" June's face was grim as he looked up at the stars. "No, but they're about to find out." The emergency summit in Seoul continued into the night. World leaders sat around the large table, their faces lit by blue light from the holograms. Dr. Jin Choi stood at the front of the room, pointing to star charts that showed the known territory of the Galactic Council. "We have studied the 3 alien ships that crashed on Earth," Jin said. "From their databanks, we learned much about the Council." He touched a button, and images of strange alien beings appeared in the air. Some had multiple arms, others had skin like rocks or metal. Some looked almost like humans, but with strange colors or extra eyes. "The Council has ruled space for over 10,000 years," Jin continued. They have met 42 other species. All of these species now serve the Council. They provide resources, technology, and workers. And none of them fought back, asked the president of the European Federation. Jin shook his head. Some tried. They were destroyed or damaged until they gave up. But here is what's important. The Council has never faced a species that was ready for them. Defense Minister Suk Lee stood up. She walked to the front of the room and waved her hand through the hologram. The image changed to show 5 massive warships. Project Aegis began 30 years ago, after the first alien ship crashed in Siberia, she explained. We use what we learned to build ships that could fight in space. Each ship is named after a great defender from Earth's history. The ships rotated slowly in the air. They were sleek and dark, with weapons along their sides. Each was as large as a small city. The Leonidas, the Boudica, the Yi Sunshin, the Sitting Bull, and the Shaka. Suk said, pointing to each ship. Each can fight for 3 years without returning to Earth. Each has weapons that can destroy a moon. Admiral Jun Park stood next. We have kept these ships hidden. We used special materials that don't show up on scans. We built them on the dark side of the moon, where Earth telescopes can't see, and where the moon blocks them from space. How many people know about this? Asked the leader of Brazil. Less than 2,000, Jun answered. The crews, the builders, and key military leaders. We kept it secret because we didn't know who was watching. Commander Hyun Kim stepped forward with a tablet. She touched it, and a new image appeared, a plan of attack. The Council ship will arrive here, just beyond our moon, she said, pointing to a spot in space. They will expect us to arrive in small, weak ships. They will expect us to beg or to bring tribute. Her finger moved across the map. Instead, our 5 ships will move out from behind the moon. We will surround them. We will show them that humanity is not weak. Jin spoke again. The Council species are proud. They believe they are better than everyone else. This is their weakness. They will not expect us to be strong or smart. The President of the United States stood. What if they call for help? What if they have more ships nearby? They will, Jun said honestly. But their message said they are sending 1 diplomatic vessel. Their other ships are far away, controlling other worlds. We will have time to talk before they arrive. Minister Suk looked around the room. We do not want war. We want respect. We want the Council to know that humans will not be slaves or test subjects. One by one, the world leaders nodded. The plan would move forward. 2 days later, Commander Hyun stood on the bridge of the warship Leonidas. Through the large window, she could see Earth, beautiful and blue. Soon, the Council ship would arrive, expecting weak humans who would bow down easily. All systems ready, Commander, said Lieutenant .1, looking up from his control panel. Hyun nodded. Send the message to the other ships. The Council arrives tomorrow. It's time to show them who we really are. Across the darkness of space, 4 other massive warships lit up their engines in response. Humanity was ready. Commander Hyun stood in the shuttle as it flew from Earth to the moon. Through the small window, she watched her home planet grow smaller. The blue and green world looked peaceful from here. Its people went about their daily lives, not knowing that aliens were coming to demand humans as tribute. Only the highest leaders knew the full truth. Regular people had been told that an alien ship was coming for diplomatic talks. No one mentioned the tribute demands or the test subjects. First time seeing the fleet, Lieutenant. Hyun asked the young officer beside her. Lieutenant Daewon nodded. His hands gripped the seat tightly as the shuttle moved through space. This was his first trip off Earth. I've seen pictures during training, Dae said, but they say it's different in person. Hyun smiled. Yes, very different. The shuttle curved around the moon. Earth disappeared from view as they entered the dark side. For a moment, there was nothing but blackness and stars. Then the pilot turned on the shuttle's lights, and Dae gasped. 5 massive warships floated in the empty space. They were huge, each one longer than 20 football fields. Their dark metal hulls swallowed the light. Weapons lined their sides, and large engines waited at the back. The closest ship had a name painted on its side in white. Leonidas. Beautiful, aren't they? Hyun said. Humanity's secret guardians. The shuttle moved closer to the Leonidas. The ship grew larger and larger in the window until it was all they could see. A door opened in the side of the great ship, and the shuttle slipped inside. When Hyun and I stepped out of the shuttle, hundreds of crew members stood at attention. Men and women in dark blue uniforms lined the walls of the massive landing bay. They saluted as Hyun walked past. "Welcome to the Leonidas, Commander," said Captain Ta-Su, stepping forward. He was a tall man with gray hair and a face that rarely smiled. "The other ships report ready for action." Hyun nodded. "Good. Take us to the bridge. Lieutenant Dai will be joining our tactical team." They walked through the ship's wide halls. Crew members worked at stations, checking systems and preparing for the coming encounter. The Leonidas had been built in secret over many years. Its technology combined human innovation with what they had learned from crashed alien ships. On the bridge, Hyun walked to the main window. It stretched across the entire front wall, showing the vast darkness of space. The other 4 warships were visible in the distance. The Boudica, Yi Sun-shin, Sitting Bull, and Shaka, Captain Ta said, pointing to each ship, all fully crewed and armed. Hyun turned to face the bridge crew. "Tomorrow, we make history. The Galactic Council believes humans are weak. They think we will give them whatever they want." She touched a control panel, and a hologram appeared. It showed the planned positions of all 5 ships. "We will hide here, behind the moon," she continued. "When the Council ship arrives, Admiral Park will meet them in a small diplomatic shuttle. They will think it's all we have. They will be arrogant and demanding." The hologram showed the 5 warships moving out from behind the moon, surrounding the alien vessel. "Then we reveal ourselves," Hyun said. "We show them that humanity will not bow. We show them that we are ready." Lieutenant Day raised his hand nervously. "Commander, what if they attack? What if they call for more ships?" Hyun's face grew serious. "They might. War is possible. But remember this. Every species that surrendered to the Council now lives as servants. If we must fight to remain free, then we will fight." Captain Ta stepped forward. "All ships are on full alert. Weapons are charged. We are ready for any outcome." Hyun nodded and looked back at the stars. "In 12 hours, the Council ship will arrive, and humanity will show the galaxy who we really are." High Counselor Vex stood on the bridge of the massive Council ship as it approached the Sol system. His tall, thin body was covered in smooth gray skin. 4 eyes, set in a row across his face, blinked at different times as he studied the blue planet on the screen. "Earth," he said, his voice like dry leaves in wind. "Home of the humans. A backward world that has just begun to explore its own solar system." Around him, representatives from other Council species worked at control panels or talked in small groups. They came in many shapes, some with many arms, others with scaly skin or metal-like plates covering their bodies. All wore the same silver uniform with the Council's symbol, a circle of 17 stars. Delegate Moores, a bulky creature with red skin and small black eyes, laughed. "I studied their communication signals. They fight among themselves over land and resources. They are divided into many small groups. They will be easy to control." Vex nodded slowly. "Most young species are. They will learn that joining the Council is for the best. They will provide what we need, and in return, we will allow them to exist." The Council ship was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. It had traveled between stars for 3 weeks to reach this small, out-of-the-way planet. Such a trip would normally be beneath Vex's duties, but there was something about Earth that interested him. Their response to our tribute demand was unusual, Vex said. They did not beg. They did not refuse. They asked for a meeting. Mors waved one of his forearms dismissively, a delay tactic. They hoped to negotiate better terms. Perhaps, Vex said. But our scans show they have been collecting materials from asteroids in their system. They have made progress with faster-than-light travel experiments. They learn quickly. Another delegate, a female named Zin whose body was like flowing water contained in a clear shell, moved closer. You sound worried, High Counselor. This is routine. We have done this 42 times before. Vex turned all four eyes to her, and yet, I feel something is different here. The humans know more about us than they should. The ship's captain, a robotic being named Unit 7, approached. High Counselor, we have entered Earth's solar system. We will reach Earth orbit in 6 hours. Our scans show a small vessel preparing to leave Earth. It appears to be a diplomatic shuttle. Vex nodded. Good, they are following protocol. Prepare the reception chamber. We will show them the full power and glory of the Council. They must understand their place in the galaxy. Mors laughed again. I look forward to seeing their faces when they see our ship. Their primitive minds will be overwhelmed. Unit 7's metal face could not show emotion, but his voice sounded concerned. High Counselor, our long-range scans show something strange. There appears to be unusual activity on the far side of Earth's moon. What kind of activity? Vex asked. Unclear, the captain replied. The moon blocks our direct scans, but there are energy readings that do not match known human technology. Vex was silent for a moment. Then he said, continue our approach as planned, but raise shields and prepare defensive systems. Is that necessary? Zin asked. They are primitives. Their weapons cannot harm this ship. Likely not, Vex agreed. But in my long life, I have learned that assumptions can be dangerous. The humans responded to our demand too calmly. They should have been afraid. He turned back to the screen showing Earth growing larger as they approached. Something feels wrong. They seem prepared. Mors snorted. Prepared for what? They've barely left their own planet. What threat could they possibly pose to the mighty Galactic Council? Vex didn't answer. He kept his four eyes fixed on the blue planet as an uneasy feeling grew within him. Admiral Jun Park sat in the small Earth shuttle as it flew toward the massive alien ship. The Council vessel was huge, at least 10 times bigger than anything humans had ever built for space. It glowed with strange lights and had odd shapes that stuck out from its sides. Impressive, isn't it? Said Dr. Jin, who sat beside him. They built it to scare us. Jun nodded. Size and fear. That's how they control other species. Their shuttle was simple and small on purpose. The Council would see it and think humans were weak. They would not know about the 5 massive warships waiting behind the moon, hidden and ready. There were only 4 humans in the shuttle. Admiral Jun, Dr. Jin, Minister Suk, and a pilot. They wore simple blue uniforms with Earth's symbol, a circle with all continents shown inside. Remember the plan, Jun said quietly. We listen. We act impressed. We act scared. Then we reveal the truth. The pilot's voice came through a speaker. We're being pulled into their ship now, Admiral. Some kind of beam is guiding us. Jun touched the small device on his wrist. It looked like a watch but was actually a communicator linked to Commander Hyun on the Leonidas. One press of a button would signal the 5 warships to move. Ready? He asked his team. They nodded, faces serious. The shuttle landed smoothly inside the Council ship. When the door opened, bright light poured in. Jun led his team out into a massive room with a ceiling so high they could barely see it. Alien creatures of many shapes and sizes stood in lines, watching them. At the far end of the room, on a raised platform, sat High Counselor Vex. His 4 eyes blinked as he watched the humans approach. Welcome to the Galactic Council's diplomatic vessel, Vex said. His voice was translated by a small machine, making it sound flat and mechanical. I am High Counselor Vex. You stand before the representatives of the 17 most powerful species in the galaxy. Jun bowed slightly. I am Admiral Jun Park of Earth. This is Dr. Jin Choi, our expert on alien life, and Minister Suk Lee, our defense leader. Delegate Moores stepped forward, his red skin glowing under the bright lights. Have you brought a list of the tribute Earth will provide? And the first 100 human subjects for our research? Minister Suk looked up at the large alien. We have come to discuss the terms of your request. Moores laughed, a harsh sound like rocks falling. There are no terms to discuss. The Council has spoken. You will provide what we demand, or we will take it by force. June stepped forward, looking appropriately nervous. We understand the Council is powerful. Earth is just one small planet. But before we agree to your demands, we would like to know more about what joining the Council means for Earth. Vex leaned forward. All 4 of his eyes focused on June. Interesting. Most species simply obey when we make our demands. Humans are curious by nature, Dr. Jin said. We like to understand situations fully. Vex nodded slowly. Very well. The Galactic Council rules this section of the galaxy. Species that provide tribute receive our protection. Those who refuse. He let the threat hang in the air. And the human test subjects? June asked. What happens to them? They will be studied. Another alien said. This one looked almost like a cloud of gas in a clear container. Their biology is interesting to us. June nodded, as if considering. He shared a look with Minister Suk, who gave a small nod. I see, June said. Earth has reviewed your demands and reached a decision. He paused, then stood straighter. Earth respectfully declines. The room erupted in alien laughter. Even Vex's mouth turned up at the corners. Perhaps you misunderstand, Vex said. This is not a request. The tribute will be collected, with or without your cooperation. June smiled for the first time. I was hoping you'd say that. He pressed the button on his wrist device. Now let me show you why Earth refuses. On the large screens around the council chamber, images appeared. 5 massive warships moved out from behind Earth's moon, their weapons ready and pointed at the council ship. Impossible. Delegate Moores hissed, staring at the screens. His red skin turned darker with anger. Our scans detected nothing of this size. On the screens, 5 massive warships moved into position around the council vessel. Each ship was dark and sleek, with large weapons pointed at the council ship. White letters on their sides showed their names: Leonidas, Boudica, Yi Sun-Shin, Sitting Bull, and Shaka. High Counselor Vex had gone very still. All 4 of his eyes were fixed on the screens. For the first time in many years, he felt something close to fear. You've been hiding your true capabilities, he said quietly to Admiral June. We've been preparing, June corrected. He stood tall now, no longer pretending to be weak or scared. Humans have a long history of facing those who would conquer us. We've learned to be ready. Minister Suk stepped forward. Your scans didn't detect our ships because we built them with special materials. Materials that don't show up on scans. Dr. Jin added, we learned how to make these materials from the alien ships that crashed on Earth years ago. We've been studying you for a long time. The room was silent. None of the council delegates knew what to say. They had come expecting to find a weak, primitive species. Instead, they found humans were ready and waiting with advanced technology. A voice came through the communication system. Council vessel, this is Commander Hyun Kim of the Earth Defense Force ship Leonidas. Our weapons are locked on your engines and life support systems. Admiral Park, should I proceed with a demonstration? June looked at Vex. That won't be necessary yet, Commander. I believe the Council can see our ships clearly. Vex stood slowly. You've been preparing for war. No, June said firmly. We've been preparing to defend ourselves. There's a difference. Humans don't want war, High Counselor. We want to be left alone to develop in our own way, or to join the galaxy as equals. not as servants. Unit 7, the robotic captain, approached Vex. High Counselor, our scans show each human ship carries enough firepower to cause severe damage to our vessel. If all 5 fire at once, we would be destroyed. Delegate Moores growled. We should call for the fleet. We should destroy these humans for their defiance. The fleet is 3 days away at top speed, Unit 7 said. By the time they arrive, we could be destroyed. Vex raised a hand for silence. How did you do this? Your planet shows signs of primitive technology. Your space stations are basic. Your moon base has minimal defenses. June smiled. What you can see, yes. We made sure of that. But behind the moon, hidden from both Earth and space, we built our real defense. Project Aegis. 5 warships combining Earth technology with what we learned from studying your kind. Minister Sook added, for 30 years, we've been ready. Waiting. Watching the stars. We hoped for friends but prepared for enemies. Vex looked at the screens again. The 5 warships had surrounded the Council ship completely. There was no escape. What do you want? Vex asked finally. Respect, Jun said simply. Recognition that Earth is not a world to be conquered or exploited. We will not provide tribute. We will not send humans to be your test subjects. We want to join the galactic community as equals or not at all. Dr. Jin stepped forward. We know the Council has never faced this situation before. You're used to species that surrender. But humans are different. We don't bow to threats. Vex turned to the other Council members. For the first time in their long history, the mighty Galactic Council faced a species that had anticipated their actions and prepared accordingly. We should talk, Vex said at last. Perhaps we have misjudged the humans. June nodded. Yes, we should talk. Commander Hyun, maintain position but stand down from firing stance. I believe the High Counselor is ready to negotiate. The next 12 hours were the most tense in human history. Inside the Council ship, Admiral Jun Park and his team sat across from High Counselor Vex and the other aliens. Guards stood along the walls, watching both sides carefully. Outside, the 5 human warships kept their positions around the Council vessel. Their weapons remained locked on target, ready to fire if needed. Your terms are impossible, Delegate Moores said, his voice angry. No species has ever joined the Council as an equal. All must provide tribute first. Minister Sook looked at him calmly. Then perhaps it's time for the Council to change. The old ways may have worked with other species, but they will not work with humans. Dr. Jin whispered to June, so quietly that only he could hear. Their body language shows confusion. The aliens don't know how to handle this situation. They have no plan for a species that refuses their demands. June nodded slightly. This was exactly what they had hoped for. The Council was facing something new, and they didn't know what to do. High Counselor Vex raised a hand for silence. Let us be practical. Your ships have us surrounded. But our fleet is on the way. In 3 days, 20 Council warships will arrive. What will you do then, Admiral? June smiled. By then, we will either be friends or enemies. If friends, the fleet has no reason to attack. If enemies, he let the threat hang in the air. You would risk war with the entire Council? Xin asked, her water-like body rippling with surprise. If we must, Jun said. Humans prefer peace, but we will fight for our freedom. On the Leonidas, Commander Hyun walked the bridge. The crew watched their screens carefully, tracking every movement of the Council ship. Lieutenant Day approached her. Commander, we've detected communications between the Council ship and distant space. They're calling for reinforcements, just as we expected. Hyun nodded. Good. Keep monitoring. How are the other ships? Ready and waiting, Day reported. Captain Su on the Yui Sun Shin reports all systems at full power. The Boudica, Sitting Bull, and Shaka are in position and awaiting orders. Hyun looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Council fleet was rushing toward Earth. but they were days away. Time was on humanity's side now. "What do you think will happen?" Day asked quietly. "I don't know," Hyun admitted. "But whatever comes, we've shown them that humans won't be bullied or enslaved. That alone is a victory." Back on the council ship, the negotiations continued. Vex had called for a break, and the council delegates gathered in a private room. "This is outrageous," Moore shouted. "We should destroy them all when the fleet arrives, and risk losing this ship and everyone on it." Zin asked. "The humans have us trapped. If they fire, we die." Unit 7, the robotic captain, displayed images on a screen. "Our analysis of the human ships shows technology we haven't seen before. They have combined their own ideas with pieces of council technology in new ways." Vex paced the room slowly. "We have never faced this situation before. A species that was ready for us. A species that refuses to be intimidated. What choice do we have?" Another delegate asked. "We cannot fight them now. We must wait for the fleet." "And then what?" Vex asked. "Destroy Earth? Start a war with a species that has shown great skill and determination? That is not the Council's way. We bring order to the galaxy, not destruction." He turned to face the others. "I believe we must consider something new. Perhaps the humans deserve a different arrangement than other species." Moores slammed a fist on the table. "You would reward their defiance." "I would recognize their strength," Vex corrected. "Only the strong earn respect in this galaxy. The humans have earned ours." What the humans couldn't see was the fierce argument erupting among the council delegates. In a large meeting room deep inside the mothership, representatives from the 17 most powerful species in the galaxy faced each other with growing anger. "We must not show weakness," Delegate Mord shouted, pounding his large red fist on the table. "If we give these humans special treatment, every species in the galaxy will demand the same." Zin's water-like body rippled with emotion. "And if we fight, what then? Our scans show their weapons can destroy us before help arrives. Would you sacrifice this ship and everyone on it for pride?" Around the table, delegates took sides. Some agreed with Moores that humans must be put in their place. Others thought like Zin that fighting now would be foolish. High Counselor Vex stood silent, watching the argument grow. In his long life, he had never seen the council so divided. Usually, they agreed quickly on how to handle new species. But humans had changed everything. "I remind the council," Unit 7 said, its metal voice cutting through the noise, "that our reinforcements are still 2 days and 18 hours away. The humans know this. They control this situation for now." Elder Rick, the oldest member present, slowly rose from his seat. His skin was pale and wrinkled with great age. When he spoke, everyone fell silent out of respect. "In my 500 years of service to the council," Rick said, his voice thin but clear, "I have seen 42 species join our community. All accepted their place beneath us. All provided tribute. All followed our rules." He paused, looking around the table. "But I have never seen a species like these humans. They hide their true strength. They prepare in secret. They study us before we study them. This is unusual." Moore snorted. "Unusual doesn't mean special. It just means they're sneaky and can't be trusted." Or, said a quiet voice from the corner, "it means they are truly intelligent." Everyone turned to look at the Kirill observer. Kirills rarely spoke at council meetings. They were known for watching and thinking more than talking. This one, named Thal, stepped forward into the light. "The humans learned about us from crashed ships," Thal said. "They studied our technology. They built weapons to match ours. They hid their work from our scans. They prepared for our arrival. These are not the actions of primitives. These are the actions of a species who might be our equals." The room fell silent. The idea that any species could be equal to the council races was shocking. Vex finally spoke. "There is another possibility that no one has mentioned." All eyes turned to him. What if the humans have had help? He asked. What if someone has been giving them technology and information about us? Zin's body rippled faster. You suggest treachery within the council. Who would dare? Vex shook his head. I don't know. But these humans know too much about us. Their ships use technology that should be beyond them. Someone may have interfered. Elder Rick shook his head slowly. Or perhaps we have grown complacent. Perhaps we have forgotten what determination can achieve. Perhaps these humans have done what seems impossible simply because no one told them it was impossible. The room fell silent again as the delegates considered this idea. Whatever the truth, Vex said at last, we must decide how to proceed. The humans wait for our answer. They expect us to agree to treat them as equals or to threaten war when our fleet arrives. And what will we do? Zin asked. Vex looked around the room. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Council may need to compromise. Not because we are weak, but because we are wise. Because we recognize strength when we see it. Mors started to object, but Vex raised a hand. If these humans can build 5 warships in secret, what else might they be capable of? Do we want them as enemies or as partners? The Council delegates looked at each other, understanding that whatever they decided now would change the galaxy forever. 3 days later, Admiral June Park and High Counselor Vex stood in a large room on the neutral ground of Earth's largest space station. Between them on a table lay a document that would change the course of galactic history forever, the Soul Accords. Is it done? Commander Hyun asked as she entered the room. She had just arrived from the Leonidas, which still orbited nearby with the other 4 warships. June nodded. It is done. Earth will join the Galactic Council, not as a subject world, but as a full member with equal rights and protections. High Counselor Vex pressed his hand to the document, leaving a strange mark that served as his signature. The first equal treaty the Council has offered in 10,000 years, he said. Your people have earned this, Admiral. Outside the windows of the space station,